Hello, I'm Jason.
I'm Andy Claus.
And I'm Brian.
This is the exciting and new podcast coming at you with a Christmas episode.
Oh, I feel so Christmassy.
It doesn't feel Christmassy
It's
outside.
like
it was a little cooler
30
today,
out.
but-
It wasn't snowing yet, but I felt it coming.
It's
You
in
feel
the
it
air.
coming?
You
It's
can
in
see
the
it in
air.
the clouds. You know, it's like the clouds are low. It's a little purple in the sky. You know,
The sun sets at 3. You feel like hanging yourself by 3:30.
you walk out of work. You're like, wow.
Oh, it's dark already. Awesome.
Let's get right into this one. The name of the 3 episodes this week or 3 stories, excuse me, are Lonely at the Top, Silent Night, and Divorce Me, please.
Can I be honest with you? Even as you read those names, and even after I read the names of the episode tonight before I watched the episode, I'm not even sure I still understand what 2 of those episodes mean. Like, I get the Divorce Me, Please. I know who that story's about. The other 2?
Oh, Silent Night is an easy one.
Is it really?
Yeah. Right?
Maybe I just don't
Brian,
know.
why's your mic off? I feel like we talked about this in episode 1.
I thought those names were very... I didn't think they described the show very well
I mean,
tonight.
at
And
first,
what's the other one? Silent Night. And what's the other one?
Lonely
It's
at the Top.
And what's that? That means the only one left is the okay, maybe we should just get into the show. It'll come to me as we talk about this.
Silent Night.
Oh,
Silent Night, I don't want to tell you now because it'll give away the episode.
I know it's a Christmas
so.
story. It's the Christmas.
I know, but there's a
part of
reason
the
why
the
it's called
Christmas
Silent
part of
Night.
Is it?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Do you know why, Brian?
No.
Oh. Well, I guess I'll be pointing that one out when we get to it. I don't want to say, if I say it now, it kind of ruins the episode.
Wow. I really I looked back on the names of these 3 clips as I was watching, and I was like, when is this Lonely at the Top thing going to happen? When's Lonely at the Top happening? And then the episode ended. I don't know. I
Lonely
still
at the
don't know.
Top's pretty easy after you've watched.
Is it
after
really?
After you've
That
watched
one,
the episode.
That one I know.
Really?
Yeah.
Then you must know what Silent Night is because that leaves the only thing left.
I don't remember what the third story is about.
Man, I am
How about I read the
Jim, dude. I don't know what's going on in
the
this
original
episode.
the original air date was December 10th, 1977, and
I
here's our
watched this like
IMDb
4
description.
hours ago. I'm really kind of nervous that I don't know what's happening here. Maybe I had a stroke after I watched it. When did this air? December 10th, 1977?
Yes, if it does come to you in the middle of the episode or whatever, like, just say, let us know if it does come to you as we're like watching and talking about it or not.
Oh,
Lonely at the Top should definitely know that one.
I almost want to rattle off the plots of each one now because
honestly, I think Silent Night is easier.
Well, see, that's because I only remember the 2 storylines, and I watched it today too.
I watched it today as well. All 3 of us.
I think I need to go get a blood test.
What's that?
Were you on the Paramount Plus too?
Yeah.
Because I was going to say at one point I went on, I was like, somebody was at like 8 minutes and 20-some seconds in. I was like, not anymore, you're not.
Maybe that was me then. Maybe you skipped me back, or maybe I missed something.
Well, according to IMDb, this one is at Christmas, a lonely Captain Steubing alienates the crew by his lack of Christmas spirit. Ex-convict Dan Barton meets his double-crossing law partner Walt Perry on board and plans to get revenge for being convicted of the crime the partner committed. Paul and Audrey Baines fantasize about divorcing each other. Minister Father Mike chaperones 6 orphans back to the orphanage in Mexico.
Did they say Mexico?
In Mexico, yes.
They were from an orphanage in Mexico?
No, it says Father Mike chaperones 6 orphanages back to the orphanage in Mexico. I guess there are orphanages in Mexico, yeah.
Okay.
None of those kids seemed Mexican.
None of them seem Mexican.
But they did seem racially diverse for a 1977 episode, honestly. They weren't all white kids.
Yeah.
So.
It looked, honestly, it reminded me of the episode that Ken Barry was on the Brady Bunch.
Oh, I thought it was like a Bad News Bears kind of group of kids, actually.
I
That's
thought
what
that
I
at
was
first too,
thinking
and I
of.
was checking to see if any of those kids were in the Bad News Bears.
Because they would have been about the same age.
Yes. I thought that was something that could have possibly been, yeah.
And now that you say those descriptions with the titles, now I'm much more confused about what those titles mean. Bad job naming these titles.
Wait a second. But in the description, Lonely at the Top, it used the word lonely.
Who was lonely?
I guess.
I guess you didn't hear that first description.
Oh man, I guess I didn't.
All right, then I'm not going to reread it. We'll get into the episode and just let Andy get there when he gets there. I mean,
Man, Love Boat's so deep, man. I can't figure out its deep meaning.
How many martinis did you have?
Listen,
were you drinking while you watched the episode?
Yeah, this is not. We don't have to discuss my alcohol problems.
Okay, wait. Did you? Were you placing bets for tomorrow while you were on? And,
Placing bets for tomorrow.
Yeah, tomorrow's the first day of football. No?
Oh, I have all my bets placed. I have many bets for tomorrow.
Okay. Huh?
They're all bad bets.
Your fantasy team set?
Notice my teams that I have represented up on my wall.
Your fantasy team set?
Oh, I don't do fantasy anymore. It's been years since I did fantasy.
Same here. I mean, if you're starting a league, let us know.
No, you don't want.
I ran a league once.
He's a terrible person to run a football league.
Were you in it?
No, but he knows nothing about football and then demands everything from his people. It was a no nonsense league. A league like
a league of their own. Would you say
propagated on nonsense and. No nonsense was allowed.
Since I didn't understand football, I had a way to earn points outside of the football games.
Because that's what you want in your fantasy football league.
Of course. I mean,
did any of your right guards get suspended for 5 games? Then you get an extra point.
What was your team's name? Do you remember?
I can't remember mine.
I have 2. I can remember 2 of mine. I think. Wait.
I'd like to not let my team names out. They aren't for public consumption.
Not for. All right, that's.
I ran videos.
Whoa! What's smut you run on the side, Brian? I mean,
well, no, I would run a video leading up to and then during the games, chronicling.
I think the first year
stop using big words.
The first year I ever ran or was in a fantasy football league was in the very early '90s, where there were no computers. You had to pull the stats out of the paper the next day. Oh, it was terrible. God. But the guy that ran it, I worked with him, and everybody had to have this is so dumb and who cares, but everybody had to have a city name and a team name. It wasn't just like you call yourself the Jason or something like that.
Yeah. You got to dox me again. Fuck.
Let me check. 26 minutes. Okay.
26 minutes in? We're in that far in already?
Well, we're only 11 minutes into the actual episode.
Oh, we have 15 minutes of that banter that we did beforehand?
Yeah.
Oh, that's some dangerous stuff, what you were talking about.
I save all that.
Can we just start the episode?
I was trying to till you doxed me.
We've been talking about fantasy football for 5 minutes.
I know, that was my fault. Our first guest star this week is John Gavin. He plays Dan Barton, famous for a lot of things. I saw Spartacus on there. And I'm going to call him Julius Caesar because that's who he played in Spartacus.
No, this is Donna Mills' husband.
Donna Mills' husband.
He's also in Psycho.
Yes,
he is.
Psycho, yeah.
He's one of the guys. He's the one that actually pulls the wig off Norman Bates at the end of Psycho.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's why I actually.
Those were the two things I had: Psycho and Spartacus.
When I saw him, I was like, I know this guy from somewhere, even though. It was probably 20 years after Psycho, 15 years after Psycho, but he still looked like that guy from Psycho.
Yeah, because I think Psycho was 60.
Yeah. So
17
years after. Yeah. But that's the only, like I looked through his IMDb page, that was the only thing I knew him from, I think.
Yeah.
Besides like random episodes of Love Boat and Fantasy Island.
Well, he's only in one episode of the Love Boat. I looked him up. I was hoping he would have been in more because he was pretty fun in this, I thought.
Yeah, sure.
Somber but fun.
As a homicidal lawyer. He was great as a homicidal lawyer.
Our next guest, also only in one episode, he's playing Paul Baines, and that's Shecky Greene.
Shecky Greene.
Yeah. History of the World Part 1.
That's all I know him from. That's all. And
did you know he was in Splash?
Oh, I did not know that.
I learned that
today. You didn't learn that? Yeah. Oh, what's he in Splash?
I don't know. I don't remember. But that's one of his top 4 on his IMDb page.
Very interesting. Yeah. When Michelle walked down while I was watching this today, and he's on the screen, I'm like, "Do you know who that guy is?" And she's like, "I have no idea who that guy is." I'm like, "That's Shecky Greene." She's like, "I have no idea who that guy is." I'm like, the Cretans at Sparta. I
She's
mean,
like, I know who
the
that guy
Spartans
is.
at Crete, and Spartans at Crete, and she's like, oh, history of the world. I was like, of course.
It's one of those guys that has the face, the face, and then but you don't
I
know.
gotta tell you, he did not look like
He looked heavy.
history of the world guy. Yes, and that was only a couple of years later. History of the world.
Yeah, he must have lost a lot of weight before.
And it's not like he was dying because he's still alive. So
yeah, I think he's about 93ish.
He's 90 whatever, but he was probably 40 something in this, and then that means he was 50 something in history of the world, and
90ish something now.
Now 90ish something now, but it wasn't like he was losing that weight in history of the world because he was ill. He was just getting,
he was just getting himself fit,
and he was like acting against Dom DeLuise. Maybe he just looked skinny.
Possibly too. Yeah, Dom DeLuise. Well,
what a
treasure. Our next guest, 10 total episodes of The Love Boat. She does 8 different characters. Audrey Baines is the name of her character. Miss Florence Henderson.
Wow, really? She's on that many episodes?
Yes.
Huh? She was not a very appealing character in this episode.
Not until the later.
I was glad
episode,
I was glad she got to do one of her talents at the end of this episode. But
yeah, she's in all 117 episodes of the Brady Bunch.
Well, I'm glad they didn't do one without her.
I do have something to bring up.
Oh, she was in the Brady Bunch? I told Michelle she was in Crisco oil commercials. Oh, sorry, Wesson oil commercials in the 80s.
Season 10 episode of The Love Boat, because she's in so many.
She's in the first season and the 10th season.
She's in
many seasons.
She's in almost every. She's in almost every season. I think it skips like 8 or something like that.
Go Floho.
In season
Floho?
10,
Floho.
In season 10, it will be Flo Hay.
But it should be Floho.
It should be Flo Hen.
Flohen.
Yeah. Season 10 episode, she plays a person named Carol Brady.
Get the hell out of here.
I looked at the rest of the cast in that episode. Mike Brady's in it too. Robert Reed plays Mike Brady. So the
Brady
Bradys are
Bunch is
on,
on the Love Boat?
Not the whole cast, but just like it looks like they're probably playing Mike and Carol 3 years after the Brady Bunch this is season 10. So 13 years after the Brady Bunch ended as a couple.
Can we watch that episode next week? Because that's season 10.
I don't know if it's exactly what that is, but that's the only thing that makes me think of what it could be.
There is no way I'm living long enough for us to watch all 10 seasons of this show. I think I might watch it tomorrow. I did not know that.
Week 1 of the NFL, he's watching the Florence Henderson episode of The Love.
But she's playing Carol Brady. Wow, really?
I couldn't wait. Also,
I'm very excited to see that one now. 5 years from now, I'm very excited to see that.
One of the 2 Love Boat pilots that we haven't seen.
Oh, yeah.
Florence Henderson's in it. I don't know what, but
is she Julie McCoy?
I don't think she's Julie McCoy. I think someone else was. And I don't think it was the Robert Urich one. Dick Van Patten was the doctor.
He was. That's right. I know we've talked about him being the most well-known of the previous crew in the pilot movie people.
I don't think I could see Dick Van Patten being as creepy as Doc. You know what I mean?
He continues on with the creep in this episode.
Our next guest is in 3 episodes, 2 different characters. Donna Mills. She's playing Lila Barton.
Donna Mills, man,
famous for like Knots Landing.
Yeah. I had to look her
episodes of Melrose Place. I saw,
and I don't remember. I watched Melrose Place. I don't remember her being on that. And in my mind, she is the exact same person as another person because I'm like
Haley Mills.
No, but I was like,
she's hotter than Haley.
I was like, Donna Mills. I'm like, I know exactly who she was. And then I looked her up, and it was not her. It was Morgan Fairchild in Pee-wee's Big Adventure. Yes, I thought that was Donna Mills, and then I looked it up. I'm like, why is Pee-wee's Big Adventure not in her credits? And it said,
like, wow.
I went to Pee-wee's Big Adventure and looked it up, and it was Morgan Fairchild. I'm like, oh. They're not the same person because I thought they were the same person.
It's like when you learn the lyrics of a song, you were singing a different way. Well, when I looked up
Donna Mills, as much as I thought I knew who Donna Mills was, she means absolutely nothing to me because besides whatever it is, Knots Landing or Dynasty or whatever show she's in, I know nothing else she did.
I looked up Donna Mills and I saw she was married to the General.
From those commercials?
I was just trying to get a laugh.
Oh, General
Mills.
Oh.
Cereal.
The dump bump. Oh, I did the drum for you. That was terrible. I mean, at least say the General from the General's stupid insurance commercials.
That's what I was going for. She was married to the General, and then you guys, the General Mills, and that's what I was going for. It bombed, yeah, but in my head, it was pretty good. I was holding it too because I was letting you finish your thought. In my head, I was like, don't forget General Mills. Don't forget General Mills. And then it came and it bombed. And now I feel like I'm just hanging out here in the middle of the ocean. Pun intended. Our last guest was also only in one episode. Dick Sargent playing Father Mike. He is known as the second Darren Stevens. He came in, I guess it was season 6. I have in my notes here to read the trivia about Dick York. I don't remember exactly what it was, but
Dick York and Dick Sargent. I one of my favorite. I wasn't a big Bewitched fan because that show kind of was before my time. But did you ever see the movie Whoopee Boys with Paul Rodriguez and?
I don't. Whoopee Boys? No,
yeah,
that's an older movie.
Yeah, like early '80s kind of thing. But there's a long discussion about changing dicks in the middle of a show. Dick York, Dick Sargent. That's it. That's all. That led to nothing. But when I saw Dick Sargent, I was like, hey, he's one of the dicks.
You were holding on to, you were talking while I pulled it up, so that was good. I had here.
Well, because I had to let you sit on General Mills for like a half hour there. So that's why I didn't
You got to help me with a little bit.
Oh, I was not helping you out. I was being silent for a reason.
I loved it.
That you were being punished.
I know. I kept going.
Terrible joke.
I kept going with it. I'll carry the show. Okay, I hope this works out here.
Oh, so you're reading the trivia.
Yeah, the Bewitched TV comedy series was originally a vehicle for Broadway, blah, blah, blah. Dick Sargent was chosen to play her mortal mate, Darren Stevens. Let's see. By that time, Sargent had other acting commitments. As was forths about it. York came into the picture. Dick York came into the picture after Richard Crenna, the Real McCoy's fame, turned the role down. Of course, Sargent wound up replacing York as Darren in 1969 after York suffered a seizure on the set and was rushed to the hospital.
Did Endora do something to him? Because she hated Durwood.
He never returned to the show, and the second Darren Stevens was never explained.
Well,
they just
how can you explain that? It's just the same character.
Just same character as like.
But so he had a seizure on set.
I didn't know he had a seizure on set. I knew he got sick.
And Richard Crenna was supposed to be the original Darren, huh? I did not know that.
From Rambo.
That's all I know him from. Yeah, but
he's one of those character actors that.
Yeah, he was like in some of those shows,
100 movies that we know or whatever, and we just don't.
I was never a big Bewitched fan. I don't know. I mean, it was one of those shows like I Dream of Jeannie or
what
those
I like,
60s shows that I'd catch when I was sick at home.
I think it was one of the later seasons of the Flintstones. They had an episode where they moved in next door.
Totally. I remember that. Yeah. Sure.
And he told her no magic stuff by like decorating. And when she did for when like Wilma came over and Betty were like, oh, wow. And then they all went camping. And then when she came home, she unpacked everything. So he came home and it looked like she didn't do anything.
That was when Flintstones were like spiraling downward. And they were having guest stars like The Simpsons have been doing for the last 70 years. Tony Curtis. Brian has something to say.
We're 22 minutes in and we haven't hit unpause.
Shut up, Brian.
But that was because of me, right?
Who invited you? We were talking about dicks over here.
Well, we are going to get to the opening scene now, Brian. If you'll let us. Jeez. There it is.
We were talking about the cast. Don't we do that? We always start the show with the cast.
Last week, I think we were 20 minutes into about the cast, and we said, oh, we're about 20 minutes in. We're like, that's not bad.
I just like to say I've been sitting here across from Jason.
That was a 3-hour episode.
No, not that one. Oh, yeah. Last week might have been.
I meant 10 weeks ago. I'm sorry.
I'm just sitting here staring across the chair from Jason. He's got his podcast shirt on, the exciting new podcast shirt on. Where can we get those?
These t-shirts are available if you message the Twitter handle for exciting and new. Just send the message to our DMs, which are open, size and where you want them, and we'll send that off to you. They're $20.
That's an awesome looking shirt. I love it.
Yeah.
I want one.
It does look very
Shout out to Craftin' After Midnight, who will be making the shirts. That'll be mailed out to anybody who's interested.
Do they make those in 5Xs?
You tell us what size we can get up to that size. If it's available in stores, we can get it. Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
I'm so
XXX. Excellent is actually what
it's
you were saying.
Super exy.
And
so what are we doing? Love Boat?
Love Boat
show?
Opening scene.
Opening scene.
One director.
We're almost done. One director for the whole show.
Yeah.
And as we walk in, we can already see it's Christmas time. There's a wreath hanging.
Yes.
And
Doc's talking about it being 86 degrees, bright sunshine, and a smog alert. Doesn't really say Christmas time to him. The only thing that's missing?
Brian says.
I don't remember.
Snow is what we were looking for there.
I don't remember that either.
Snow.
But
What is
Julie?
snow?
Julie is from, where's Julie from?
Julie's from Oregon here.
Shit, man, you have shit written down. That's not fair, man.
Who has shit written down? Me? Of course, but yeah, I knew it was Oregon if I didn't say it. I didn't read
I
it.
remember what the temperature was.
In Julie's place, or
No, outside.
oh, in L.A.
It was 86 degrees.
Okay.
Yeah, I already said that.
Oh, that's probably
Where's
why I know
Isaac
it.
from? Or no, where's Doc from? Don't look at your notes. Where's Doc from?
Oh, I know where he's from. He's from Vegas.
Yeah, he is from Vegas. And did Isaac say where he's from?
No.
Isaac doesn't do a backstory here, and Gopher talks about his backstory.
Gopher is from a farm.
Does it say where? Does it say like Maine or something like that?
No,
like
but I do remember his uncle's name is
Uncle Bob.
Delmer.
Right? Oh,
It was
I thought you
weird.
said
Some
Uncle
weird
Bob.
like Uncle Delmer.
Well, Gopher's regaling us with his entire Christmas day that starts at like 3 o'clock in the morning. With
I have
You
it listed here.
whole
Everything
thing?
that he
That's
did,
a
I wrote
whole
that
page
down.
of notes.
Just to see what he did.
Lord.
Just to see what he did there, because he said they did something at. They arrived at. They left at 9. They arrived by 10. Pancake breakfast. 11. They had presents. 1:30 to go for a walk. 2:30. Everyone is ready for a nap. Stubing comes in. Finally arrives at the. And Gopher keeps talking. 3:30. Take the kids to visit the neighbors. 6:15. Aunt Lillian brings out a big Christmas goose, and they eat themselves into oblivion. 8 o'clock. They drag ourselves away from the table, and Isaac interrupts. Go to bed.
Go to bed.
And
Yep.
Gopher goes, no, we go caroling door to door. Julie ends it and says, everyone is homesick. She tells Stubing everyone's homesick, and then that's the end of the.
Gopher's Christmas sounds like the ideal Christmas. It also sounds like a recipe for suicide. To spend that much time with your family.
Stubing.
Oh my God.
Stubing
I can't
mentioning
even
that
imagine.
he's
That's
divorced.
all one day.
Yeah. It's like 12 hours. It's not even a full 24 hours. It's 12 hours of Gopher and his family eating and caroling.
Just the way Gopher
and
told the story, I would have been sick by 9 a.m. when he first left. But Stubing
yeah,
mentions
when he
that
says
he's-
we left at 9 and we got to the family at 10, I'm like, I'm already out. I'm like, oh, God.
Like,
do
we
have
could
to
have
be
driven
here? Do
longer?
we have to be here, please? I have to go down and get to. I have to go back to the gas station to get cigarettes. Can I go back there, please?
After Julie mentions that the crew is like homesick, Stubing says, basically, he says he's not because he's at sea every Christmas. He mentions he's divorced, his family's just his father and his
I'm
new wife.
so glad you brought that up, because when he said that, he said, obviously, you know, I'm divorced and my father's new wife, and that's
Which
it.
is what we saw.
And where's Vicky? No mention of Vicky, his daughter, teenage daughter, who we know is going to be
Coming
on this
to
show in
season
a couple
3
of
or so,
years.
yeah.
So no mention of her.
No mention of her.
Is there no Vicky in his life? Is this a
That's
rewrite
why-
later on? Is it they didn't care? They're just
I
going to
don't
add
remember
her?
the Vicky story.
Is she adopted? Does he adopt her as a?
It might
as
be
a
something happens
preteen?
to her mom that he was with her.
Oh, so
I don't-
is
it
it
could be
maybe not
something
his?
like that.
Maybe not his
It could-
biological
or
daughter.
Does he? I don't think he finds out about her.
Brian,
late.
just jump in.
Daughter of a Mexican whore.
From Ensenada.
He doesn't find out.
Oh yeah,
Which is where this
cruise
cruise
is a
goes, 3-day
3-day
cruise.
Ensenada tour.
I had that
Yes.
marked off for you because I know you always wonder.
I
want to
know where we're going.
Is.
3
Yeah.
days. This is a Christmas special. This is from Christmas Eve to the day after Christmas, I guess. Right?
That's what it seemed like. Yeah. So he mentioned that his father
From
and
Christmas
his new
Eve
wife
to
are. Do you
Boxing
know where
Day?
they're living at now? Where his father and his new wife are living? He mentions where they're living.
Ooh.
Brian, chime in.
Florida.
There it is.
Oh, I didn't pick that
And
up.
Stubing says it's just another working day, but then he says no presents. A rule
No
is a rule.
presents.
Yep.
My wife and I have had a no presents rule for the last 21 years.
Does that
And
also include like no
every
cards? None of
year
that,
it gets broken?
right? Oh, every year it gets broken.
Every year. And I'm like, I thought we said no presents. And she's like, here you go. And I'm like, well,
Do you ever
here.
break it?
Of course.
I mean-
because I know she's going to break it. So I got to get her something to tell. I'm like, why
So
do
you
we
guys really don't
this
have. They
fucking
don't really
rule?
have a rule. Do you give a card or do you just give the gift?
No. And her birthday was just the other day, a very important birthday.
Happy birthday, Michelle.
Her 21st birthday, and she got no card. But she did get a very nice present and flowers and dinner, but no card. Cards are stupid because
It's $5 or just like
Who cares about cards?
same person picked it
I
up.
make my own cards.
You know what? That actually means more than
that checks
me
out.
going to Hallmark and buying
That
cards.
checks out. He doesn't make his
Well,
own card.
Yeah.
I buy the 50-cent or $1 card from Dollar General, and then I draw on it.
I'm very happy that my wife doesn't need a card. I know guys that have wives that
Anything
Where's my
one of those
card?
cards is going to say is not something that's going to come from you.
Yeah.
I love you.
my life is not complete that we
It's like, what are you doing buying this crap?
And Michelle would say that. She's like, $5 for this piece of shit? Like, why'd you buy this?
She'd be like, ew, who would say that to anybody?
Although I did get an awesome card from you guys for my 51st this year.
Did we?
That cat one.
Well,
The meowing cat.
Obviously, that was all Michelle. I have no idea.
you only
that
turn
that happened.
51 once.
That's
So.
true.
And guess what? 51's just as important as every other birthday.
It's more important than the damn 50th one where we were locked down.
Oh, well, yeah. Fuck.
Why are you yelling at Andy? It's not like he locked you down.
Well, his 50th was we were locked down. So
Yeah.
But he gave you. I was like,
It was all my fault.
I kind of blame him.
I was
like-
patient zero
I was like,
of
wait,
COVID.
did he lock Andy? Did Andy lock him in the basement?
I said, Brian, COVID, don't come out. You've
He
got a
wouldn't lock
fragile
me in the
immune
basement.
system.
That's why this podcast equipment was already down here when I came over. I was like- so yeah, right after that is when we found out that it was a 3-day cruise, 3-day Christmas voyage is what they called it, to Ensenada.
Yep.
And then we get Julian Gopher. I
It's
just
really
combined their
funny.
names. Jofer.
Discussing having a Christmas cruise.
Look, 2 writers did that one. Silent Night.
And there was a married couple doing one of the.
I
there
saw
was
that too, yeah.
There was a blah,
Blah and
and
blah.
blah last name thing. I was like, oh, married couple did that
I'll
right.
give credit where it's true. That was Mr. and Mrs.
Mr.
Blah.
Farr is their last name. I wonder if that's
Jamie
parents.
Farr's maybe.
Jamie Farr is in some episodes. Spoiler
Does
alert.
he have parents that are writers?
I don't know.
Well, you can't bring it up if you don't know.
I wondered about it, but I didn't wonder about it.
You
enough
knew
to
their
look it up.
last names to know to look it up, but you didn't
And he
look it up.
was like, I should look that up. And then he was like,
All right,
he probably watched an episode of
Let's go.
Fantasy Island or something.
Brian, you want to switch your chair over here soon? Okay.
Okay, so they're talking.
So Shecky Greene.
You want to do the hand there? Okay.
Okay. So Shecky Greene and Florence Henderson are
Oh,
getting
who
on the
the
boat right
hell is
now.
this?
It's nobody. Just notice this guy right here in the leather jacket. Okay, just notice. him.
Okay.
All right. So Shecky Greene and Florence Henderson are getting on the boat.
There's
They're
a wager being
discussing
made, $5 wager about they're married or
whether they're
just
married
lovers.
or and they not only are they married, they're long married because they're already discussing divorce.
True. Shecky Greene does not look like the Shecky Greene we know.
He
from,
does not much heavier
History
than
of the World,
History of
yeah.
the World. Shecky Greene. In fact, when I first saw him, I'm like, "Who's that guy?"
Do we want to talk about this? They're a married couple. They both want a divorce, but they're not. They're
But this
being
is the
so
first
sweet and
ever,
loving to
the
each
first
other. Yeah.
ever, I think, first ever Love Boat voiceover.
Yeah, I
Because
think so.
they're all thinking what they want to say.
Yes.
but they're not saying what they want to say.
At the same time,
I
and they're
hated that.
Yeah, I
putting
thought
on
that was
the
very
facade
cheesy.
of being a very happy
and
couple.
especially when they're voiceovering and rolling their eyes as they're voiceovering. So how do you feel about that? Eyes go up in the back
real
of their
quick,
heads. And
one
they're
of
like,
the one of the things here when they were like whispering, I guess is that what we're calling it? Whispering to themselves or talking to themselves
Okay.
kind of thing. Florence Henderson had a good line where she said, she'd rather be in a swamp with Idi Amin.
oh.
And
Yes, I
just-
actually
I
yelled
wanted
that
to-
out at the time. I'm like, you mean?
I
I'm like,
wanted to-
really?
So I
I
wanted
just
to-
saw
The
something.
last
on
king
that,
of
too.
what's
So I
that?
want-
The last king of Scotland?
No,
No.
I just saw,
Oh, Idi Amin.
saw
I know, I was
someone walk by.
Who did?
I paused it. Nobody walked by.
But right before that,
Oh, really?
leather coat guy.
Did we miss it?
No, not again.
But wait, I wanted
just
to.
then.
I wanted to
Not yet.
Here, let me back it up.
real quick.
Because he does walk by again.
While he backs it up, I wanted to tell you who Idi Amin is, if anybody doesn't know.
Oh, okay.
Who's listening? He was the third president of Uganda from 1971 to 79. Do you want to know what
Oh,
he's
he does
famous
come
for,
by
Andy?
again. There he is. There's a leather coat guy again.
Do you know what he's famous for, Andy?
Yeah,
Or best known for?
Forrest Whitaker playing him in the movie Last King of Scotland. I know
Well, the
who Idi
International
Amin is.
Commission of Jurists in Geneva estimates 80,000 to 300,000, and Amnesty International estimates 500,000 out of a population of 12 million.
Good stuff.
that
he gave
were
presents to.
assassinated.
Oh, he killed those people.
Yeah,
huh?
those people were assassinated.
I like to also point
anywhere
out
from
that
80,000 to 500,000.
Forrest Whitaker played him in the movie Last King of Scotland, and
Yes.
he was also in the very beginning of the Naked Gun movie where Frank Drebin's beating up the Ayatollah Khomeini and
What a ridiculous
Gaddafi. And all those guys. Idi Amin's in that scene as well. Who are you anyway? Frank Drebin, Police Squad, and then he falls out.
I just
the
wanted
window.
to get that in. I wanted to get that in before.
There's the leather jacket guy walking by
okay,
again.
but it's still not what you want us to see.
No,
yet,
it
right?
is. I thought it happened after they got done talking. I thank Brian for actually pointing that out because
Okay.
I would have missed it because that guy walks by twice. The woman that was in front of him walks by him in
Maybe he
front of
does
him.
it 3 times.
He does it.
So
definitely
maybe he
walks by
forgot
twice.
something and ran back and.
But it was very funny.
Get it.
Like this guy just stood out because he's wearing this leather jacket.
You know,
he's taller than.
I really
everybody
was
else
hoping it
that's
was going to
walking
be
by.
like, that's
No,
Jimmy Walker.
No,
and we
it's nothing.
see him
It's
in the
nothing that
background
cool.
or
It was just
something
like
that.
I'm like,
yeah.
did I just see that guy walk by?
No, I love stuff like this. So
But
this
I
is
don't
good,
catch.
yeah.
And he looks like he's 8 feet tall.
That's why he stood out because he's so tall. And I
But the
never
best part is
catch
that you saw
stuff.
it twice. You're like,
As soon as he walked by again, I'm like, didn't I just see that guy walk by with that brown leather jacket on? And sure enough, there he is walking by. I rewound and looked at it. And I'm like, that's the same guy. And the woman that was in front of him with the gray kind of dress on, she was in front of him before too. So they're just recycling these extras, keep walking back and forth, keep walking back and forth. At least put a different jacket on, take the jacket off, do something to make yourself look different.
Or hire another extra. I mean,
well, you don't want
Gopher could have brought his buddy to the set or something like that. Also, we
want to vote for me and you can be on an episode of Love Boat?
We find out with Cabin, Shecky, and
don't tell me
Mrs. Brady are staying in
334 Promenade Deck.
Ooh, so close. 344 Promenade Deck.
I heard him say it, and I was like, I need to remember that.
Also, at this time, they're going to leave, and Julie mentions there's a gift shop in case you forgot any gifts. It's
hey, do you want some crap that say this stupid boat's kind of on it?
Forgot any gifts? Kind of a little bit foreshadowing.
Do you want a issue of Kitten magazine because we know we have them here? Do you want that?
Actually, I know where 3 of them are going.
Actually, the one guy on this cruise that's nobody, he's drinking a couple times. You see him, I'm like, I think that's the guy that was reading the centerfold.
There's that guy. His name's Monty O'Grady.
He's just reading the centerfold.
He's in a bunch of episodes. That's like
maybe it is the
passenger,
same guy.
patron, stuff like
it's
that.
It's the same guy then, because I thought that when I saw him, I'm like,
he has over 411 credits on IMDb
and no speaking
and it's
roles.
Always
just
like man at bar, man behind other man,
creep reading Playboy on the deck of a cruise ship. So these two dummies, Florence Henderson and Shecky Greene, are lovey-dovey.
Could you see them together as a couple?
Sure, I could definitely see them together, and I can also see them never resolving their issues and still being a couple at the end of this cruise. And guess what? That's exactly what happened.
Also,
there is never any kind of resolution to this at all.
No, they leave the same condition.
And what?
Guess what it reminds me of?
Me and my wife?
No, Sherman Hemsley and Esther. When that's basically what happened with them. They couldn't stand each other, and then they were like, "Get over here, dummy! I love you."
So is this like the dartboard thing where they just like the writers?
They're like, that was 8 episodes ago.
They're like, we can do that again. Recycle that storyline. Unhappy couple. They're gonna find love on the Love Boat. You know what you want to bring on the Love Boat with you? 8 little boys with a priest. Oh, was it 6 little boys? Yeah. 6 little boys and a priest on the Love Boat. As soon as Dick Sargent, the second Durwood
Stevens. But first you get
we get Donna Mills
we
and
get Donna Mills
the convict
Julius
there.
Caesar,
yeah.
He's very self-conscious because this is his first time out.
He's been in jail for 3 years. He's just got out of jail,
and he says he's not a criminal. He's innocent.
Nobody's looking at him. No one knows that this dude is an ex-con.
He's a lawyer.
But listen, he got out of jail. He's
a lawyer at some small town firm. Get out of here.
Well, he did time. He
did get a raw deal, though.
He got a raw deal. So that's not like county.
Can you tell me where they're staying?
I
have where they're staying. What room they're staying?
Oh, I have no idea.
Well, we're also staying on they're on the Aloha deck, and they are in cabin 353.
So the Aloha deck and the Promenade deck are 2 different decks, and their numbers start with the same number, 3 and 3. That's not. I think your floor number is your first number. So
I agree.
There's no way the Promenade and the Aloha deck are the same.
We got a weird comment here from Gopher. He says you look like you could use some sunshine.
Yeah,
I just thought that was really weird to say to somebody coming on.
What, he doesn't get an hour out in the courtyard or the in General Pop every
and that's why.
day or
so that's
like
why
that?
Julius Caesar's probably like, son of a bitch, this guy read about me in the paper. And here comes your buddy.
So here comes Dick Sargent with a bunch of little boys on a Love Boat.
Father Mike.
He's like,
orphans are on holiday.
On the Love Boat. So if you guys see any girls,
we get a really mean Steubing here too. He wants to tells Father Mike to keep these kids off the bridge.
And I know I am probably the dim one of this podcast. I know you guys look down on me for my stupidity and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But I'd like to say, but I know you're agreeing. But I would like to say that as soon as they said the mystery man that paid for this cruise,
you figured this one out?
Knew.
This one, all right.
I knew. As soon as they said it, I was like, I think I know who paid for this.
Oop, I got to unmute.
We're going to get there, man.
Who hired this guy? But yeah,
he has the best equipment. Though. We sound amazing.
we sound really great. Too bad the clapping can't come in at the right time. But yeah, as soon as he said, the mystery man paid for the cruise again
I'm
going to
go on record as saying I knew this one too.
I was like, all right.
Strongly.
I really hope people are watching along with us and they were like,
spoiler, pause on my episode now because now I know what happened. Listen, not that anybody's actually
that's
watching
what I had.
this.
I had little stars around it. Someone pays for the kids. No one knows who.
But not that anybody's watching the show as you listen because
Julie goes, have you ever asked Father Mike who pays for it?
yeah. Father Mike, who's the check written out to? But
Stubing has a great response when she says, have you ever asked Father Mike?
yes.
Do you remember what she says to Stubing afterwards? No. She goes, or Stubing says to her, he goes, obviously some with more dollars
and
cents.
Right?
More dollars
because that comes up later. But does anybody listen to this podcast specifically and in general while watching the episode? You have to watch the episode first, right?
Yeah,
it's not like you can spoil an episode during the middle of discussing the episode.
Agreed.
Right?
So yeah,
no one's sitting there going,
also,
oh wait, I'll pause now while they discuss this scene.
Well, they don't know when we pause.
They don't know when we pause.
Yeah,
I'm just saying you're watching along. You're watching this.
Unless it was live, that would be the only way to watch along, and we can't do that because we don't have the rights yet.
And plus, this is 43 years old, and no one's watching anything live.
Well, I mean, if
most of them are dead.
If we put this on the green screen and we did the Mystery Science Theater and we watched along, and that's Chucky.
Do we hear Chucky on the
Wait,
mics there?
I just doxed Chucky.
I think Chucky's okay with it, man.
Yeah, I didn't say his last name.
You know what? People. That would be the best way to do this in a mystery science way. Just the back of my head. That's my most attractive feature, the back of my head. So I wouldn't mind.
And we'll be able to tell each other apart still. Like if we turn the logos around to this,
we know who's who. More dollars than cents.
Yeah, so there we go.
Little children on the Love Boat with a priest. It's all good.
Yeah, it was just but the Stubing just
you know what?
So
there is no hint of on this, but in 2021, there's a lot of hint of
coming up. We're gonna get a lot of
as long as Doc's not wearing the collar, saying "little boys."
Oh, we get to that later on. Doc and his BDSM days. Up next is our beautiful Bon Voyage scene.
Finally. How long are we into this podcast? 75 minutes, and we're Bon Voyage.
Well, we're 8.5 minutes into the episode, and we've seen some streamers with Julius.
41 minutes.
Okay.
Julius Caesar and Donna Mills, and then we see Father Mike and the kids, and then third we see Carol and Shecky. But look how happy Carol and Shecky are here. He grabs her arm like, "Ooh, this is so much fun!"
Yeah,
like
it
for
makes no
wanting
sense.
to be divorced, he was too excited for that. That took me away from the story. I'm sorry.
It ruins it all.
Can we stop this? I got tears in my eyes.
I'm not gonna say I didn't have tears in my eyes by the end of this episode, but
Not
I get
gonna
tears,
lie.
But I get tears in my eyes almost every episode of Ted Lasso. So
But that was
I
when he
might
was
as well
having a
get here,
stroke. We get Julius Caesar and Donna back at the cabin. They're getting excited about having.
I wish you knew Donna
dinner in
Mills'
the
Knots Landing character because you could just call her Julius Caesar and
I know. We're
Bethany
going with Donna
or whatever the hell her
because
name is.
I feel like we're closer, me and her, Donna.
Donna Mills is like a name that I know so well yet, as we've already
But
discussed.
because
I don't know
Haley Mills
anything.
more, that's why.
Who's Haley Mills?
Haley Mills is her sister. That's the one who played Miss Bliss. That's the one who played in Freaky Friday.
Wait, Miss Bliss, the British chick? She's Donna
Miss
Mills.
Bliss from Saved by the Bell, the first year when they were in
Wasn't
Indiana.
she British?
No, Miss Bliss was not British. No.
I was never a big Saved by the Bell guy.
Oh, big fan.
I mean, I know those Miss Bliss episodes. Good Morning, Miss Bliss.
I listened to that podcast too, Zach to the Future. It's pretty good.
That was Donna Mills' sister, huh?
Haley Mills, yeah.
Haley
They're
Mills
twins.
McCartney?
I think they're twins.
Oh. I really don't know her at
No,
all.
that's Heather Mills McCartney, yeah.
Oh, okay. And now just Heather Mills. She got something lopped off her last name.
I see what he did there. That was pretty
terrible.
good. That was pretty good.
That's so bad.
He says he's ready to see people because she was like curious about having dinner out in the cabin. She wanted to have dinner rather than going out to the dining room. We have a lawyer who can't practice law. He feels like everybody's going to see that when they look at him. He's a convicted embezzler, we find out.
He's
here.
a convicted chef.
I'm sorry. I apologize. We get Father Mike and Meryl on deck with a really crappy looking water scene behind it. Like
so
fake.
fake. Michelle actually came down during this part, and she was like,
Michelle's coming down in all the wrong scenes.
But she's like, so they couldn't afford to actually pay for them being on the boat. I was like, nah, I guess not this one, because there are definitely times where they are on the boat. They're at the back of the they're at the back of the boat there. That's the back of the boat kind of
They're very close to the
White
water,
capping.
it feels like, right? Like for being on a ship that high up, they should be a little...
Also, shouldn't he be steering the boat? He's the captain. He's got a lot of downtime.
I got some questions about why are the crew, those 4 people, are always together,
Well,
but nobody else.
I think we've discussed many times Isaac is the bartender on multiple decks on multiple times and serving coffee in the morning.
Father Mike mentioned that he broke up one water fight and one soap fight getting the kids ready for dinner, and he said Meryl said something about how do you do it, and he said they're just short people.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of deep talk here.
Yeah, Meryl's envious of him being a priest, being able to he's a captain, he feels lonely.
Yep.
And he says the crew at best tolerates him. So he wants to be friendly with the crew. We find out that he feels that he doesn't have that closeness. And there's a mention of the love thy neighbor prayer. I'm not familiar with any prayers, so I don't really.
You know, it's funny you should say that, because when they were singing the Christmas carols at the end of the show, I was like, do all Christmas carols sound like funeral marches?
And
like, oh my God.
Are they public domain? Can you play
I'm sure.
a lot of
A
those
lot of
Christmas
them are,
songs?
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if you're only singing them to 2 people.
But Florence Henderson's singing like Noel to the whole cast.
First Noel, yeah.
And it just sounds so
She
depressing.
has a great voice, though. She sings
does.
in the first season of the Brady Bunch, too.
She's a good singer, so it's they let her sing a lot more than they let Charo sing. But anyway.
And then Mike says to the captain, find out the crew's interests, get to know them, and they'll celebrate you. And he said, like every year on his birthday, meaning like Jesus, I guess.
Oh,
is what he was going for
did
here.
say, yeah.
Then he said,
maybe we'll celebrate my birthday. He's like, unless you're born in
unless you were
December.
born in December. Like Father Mike was a little upset that Meryl was going there trying to compare him. Said he was bigger than Jesus.
Bigger than Jesus. Only John Lennon is bigger than Jesus. John Lennon and
3
Yoko Ono's
3 years
droopy
prior
ass.
to his murder.
Whose murder?
John Lennon's still alive. This is 1977.
I was like, Captain Stupid got murdered? Damn.
You're like, Dick Sargent got murdered?
I do think that Dick Sargent and Dick York died
They both died
of
young.
lung cancer, too. They were
Yeah.
probably both smokers, so that happened.
They look like
back
they would
then.
have had cigarettes in their mouth constantly. Yeah. Yeah. So, like I was saying, he tells Captain to learn their interests and maybe he'll get closer to them. It's nice to see Steubing wants to get closer to them because we started out I know the first episode or pilot episode, he was a very mean person, and
Now,
we're
this is
slowly
the
seeing him
11th.
get a little better.
This is the 11th episode proper plus the pilot, so they've been on
12th
12
episode,
cruises together.
Mhm.
You'd think he'd have a little idea of what their interests were.
Yeah,
I
because he
mean,
seemed like completely
he knows what
clueless.
he knows what Doc's into, getting married.
Yeah, all he has to do is have to force him with Doc.
Hey Doc, here's Donna Mills. I'm locking her in your room with you. That's your Christmas present.
We're in. I'm assuming the choral dining room. I'm calling it now. But Shecky can't drink. He's a teetotaler. I guess so. That means he's not a drinker. He doesn't. He has iced tea. Again, you hear them whispering to themselves about wanting to divorce each other.
The voiceovering thing that they're doing is so hilarious because their eyes give away what they're saying. So if you're watching this with no sound,
like we are right now,
their eyes
Yeah.
are. Oh, God,
They're
what
telling
am I
the story.
doing?
Yeah.
What am I doing with this person? And I mean, Florence Henderson right there has the
Yeah, and it's like they're
face.
trying to show off. Oh, I'm madly in love with this person.
And every time they go to Florence Henderson, I like to point out that Doc is over her right shoulder talking to
I
someone.
didn't
I'm
notice that.
I'm
Nice
like,
catch.
who is Doc Mackinon back there
They
the
don't
whole
show.
time?
They
Oh,
don't
they
show,
do.
do they?
Yeah, it's Julie. I was very disappointed when they go to this scene, and now Julie's there talking to Doc. And at this
And then we
point,
get
Michelle
Julius
said,
Caesar and Donna Mills.
Michelle said, why does Julie have to dress up in a dress when the rest of the crew is dressed in their
Well, she wants her in a
their
uniform then
whites?
too, right?
Yeah, they're wearing their crew
Why does
outfits.
See, Michelle has so much gold. Like I would have never thought that. We need.
She came in from a woman's perspective,
Yeah.
I guess. And you have that, but I don't have that. So here's Donna Mills and
Donna wants him to call Walter Perry. She says he's a really good guy. He took care of her when she needed money while he was in while he was in federal prison. She says he's your friend. He's a good guy, which is laying it on really thick. So right away you're like, this Walter Perry bitch. Who is this guy? You know?
This guy, Caesar here, Sam from Psycho. He was also in History of the World Part 1.
Oh, was he?
Yeah. I was looking him up because I was like, he looks so familiar. And then as soon as I saw he was in Psycho, I'm like, oh, of course, he's Sam from Psycho. I knew
That's
that.
fun though, because
but then like down in his credits, I'm like, oh, he's in History of the World 2. And
part 2? I didn't think they made part 2.
Did they say part 2?
You said History of the World 2, like that.
Oh.
TOO.
Jews and
Drums or something would have made
but
that one.
If we had a producer that was paying attention to anything that was going on here. But he's in History of the World also. And it said his character name.
But you don't remember?
It's nobody. I was like, oh, he's just like
a
Roman
Julius Caesar.
He's like a Roman soldier or something like that. That's it. But yeah, he's in History of the World also.
Oh, but
History of the World part also.
Okay, so then so Julius Caesar gets really upset and he says he's going to go outside. He needs some time to think about things, and Donna tells him to take 10 minutes instead of 5, which I thought was just
I need 5 minutes. She's like, take 10.
It was a weird thing, right? I was just like, is this important? Are we supposed to be paying attention to this?
Well, I think she's really nervous about his state of mind because he was in jail for 3 years.
Yeah, and she's been alone for 3 years, so she's hoping for a 3-day Christmas voyage, if you know what I mean. We get.
He's like, I've been in jail for 3 years. It goes down differently from what I remember.
He's like, I got stories. It's a horror. So we get the captain talking to Isaac, and he says, "Hey man, what's happening?"
Yeah. Oh, he's like,
and he says, "I can dig that." He said, "You have to split."
So this is the way he.
My favorite one
Isaac.
was, "That's cool. I'll lay some words on you later." That one was my favorite.
He has the airplane script from the guy's I speak jive.
And then Isaac's like, "Sir, is your malaria acting up?"
Yes. He's like, "I'm going to go back to your malaria medicine." So does Captain Stubby have malaria?
Did he have it at one point?
On top of the fact that he's got a father who's remarried and a divorced wife but no daughter that we know about, he's also suffers from malaria, and he's a World War II vet, as we'll find out later. This is a very big captain backstory episode. I was shocked. Every time something came up with the captain, I was like, oh, another layer is peeled off of his character. I love it.
We are getting more to know about the captain. I hope we get more layers peeled off of Doc, because I think there's more to Doc.
So now this guy's cashing a traveler's check.
This guy here is Walter Perry.
He says, "Don't leave home without it." And he cashes
American Express.
He says he cashes a traveler's check for how much?
$50.
$50. I'm like, that's not even worth like writing the check out for.
Overhearing or eavesdropping as Julius Caesar.
He used the word. And so that's the guy, the lawyer. Like somehow, coincidentally, they were on the same cruise.
Apparently,
I know it's not a coincidence, but yes, he's on there. The lawyer that defended him in his embezzlement trial is on the same cruise as what do we call him? Caesar.
You're calling him Sam.
Sam from Psycho, but you call him Caesar.
If anybody's following along, you're
calling him Caesar from Spartacus. I'm calling him Sam from Psycho. I'm not even sure what his real name is.
John Gavin.
Gavin. Okay, John Gavin. And his name on this episode is who the hell knows? It's Bob or something like
Barton.
that.
Dan Barton.
But Dan, okay. Nice. So he's Dan, Caesar, Sam, John.
Romero. Wait, what? We had so we're in Shecky and Mrs. Brady's room, and Shecky was shaking presents, and he starts whispering about his present,
yeah, he says, "Oh, if this is another like blue tie or something like this."
And, hers, when she's shaking it, she says, "Oh, it's a bottle of cheap perfume," and she says,
"Oriental Wind" or something like that.
The name of the perfume is Oriental Wind, but what she says after that. The only perfume that comes with a bowl of rice.
Oh.
Flo Hen.
Come on. 1977? We can't do that.
Right after that, we get some obnoxious gargling. Yeah. And Mrs. Brady knew.
She knows it's coming. She's like, as soon as it happens, it
was like a really obnoxious Cookie Monster.
And Michelle was still watching with me at this point. She like gave me the side eye looking at me. I'm like, do I do that? I'm like, do I make those noises?
Well, she said something about that's the perfume you got her or whatever.
Listen, I got you Oriental nothing.
And then
Oriental
we get
Wind.
After Shecky's done with his obnoxious gargling.
By the way, I like to point out he's not wearing it now. Can you rewind it like 15 seconds? Look at the robe he's wearing.
Well, there is
because as he was wearing this robe, we got to get a picture of the robe. 10 seconds more back. It's got like pockets.
Oh, that thing was nice.
And
I thought it was a suit jacket at first.
Michelle's like, it's a rain jacket. I'm like, it's the executive. Morley Seinfeld should be set.
Wait, did it not have
it had the rope tied around it. It had pockets. It had the little things on top here with the buttons. I was like, who would want this as a robe? And I'm not a robe guy anyway. I had a Batman robe like 20 years ago. I don't have it anymore, but
I got Jack Klompus sending me up 300 of them.
But this thing was ridiculous. And then as he comes out of the bathroom after gargling with pajamas on, it's the pajamas with the pockets up here. And
the old school pajamas.
Did
like my grandfather.
Store stuff up here in these
My
pockets.
grandfather wore those kind of pajamas. Like I could never get comfortable in those kind of
with
pajamas.
all the buttons. How can you lie on those buttons and
like,
stuff?
how do you turn in that? You don't.
The sleeves have buttons. The pants probably have buttons if they showed them.
After the gargling, we get obnoxious singing
she's like,
from her. She's doing her scales.
And he's shaking. His hands are shaking as he's trying to pour because, old men like this should be drinking water right before they go to bed. He's not taking pills. He's just drinking water.
And he says, don't look at her. You know what she's going to look like. Don't look at her. You know what she's going to look like. And then he looks at her.
She comes out of the bathroom with a hairnet on and just the most random night cream just splotched all over her face. It's as if the makeup people said, big dollop here, big dollop here, big dollop here.
The obnoxious singing was brought up too.
I wear night cream. That's not the way you wear it.
He made a comment too. He said if they weren't at sea, a moose would answer her singing. So I thought that was funny. I was like, Shecky might have wrote that one.
Yeah, that should be followed by a dum thump. I'm sure the soundtrack howled at that one. I've actually not the soundtrack.
There was some
laughter.
I wasn't paying attention.
It's not
to
as obtrusive nowadays. I think they toned it down.
I think we're used to it too. We get used to it.
That might be it. Yeah, we're just. Oh, it's a joke, of course. Oh, look, tell me to laugh
what's
now.
What's Julie doing here?
But they did kiss each other good night. Good night.
Yes, I thought that was
which is strange.
Too, yeah.
I haven't kissed my wife good night in 25 years. She's usually asleep by the time I come to bed anyway.
Makes sense, yeah. Julie's needle pointing here, and we get a captain coming up to her wanting to learn how. And it looks like he does it right. At first, I thought he was going to sew his jacket to the thing or whatever. It was going to be something like that. She's like, yeah, you did great, Captain. But it just ends up, it got to be really sad, I thought, here, because Steubing says he wants to be taught. He offers to buy a kit to do together with her. And Julie basically says, here, just take mine. Needlepoint bores me stiff, she says.
Why was she doing it then?
I think she was just annoyed that Captain wanted to do it. I think that's what it is. And then,
I've never understood needlepoint as a hobby. My mom does it. My grandmother did it. I don't get it.
I don't. I mean, I guess it calms people down, or maybe, I don't know.
Smoke a bowl, man. I don't know.
Planning to. Then we get after Julie dismisses herself and gives her needlepoint to the captain. We get Father Mike coming in, basically telling Merrill to get involved with the crew, not sit around to needlepoint. Basically cracking a joke on him that he's doing needlepoint.
Is this where he tells his joke?
No,
it's not. Okay.
Why doesn't Gavin just say I just grabbed this from him. I'm not doing it, dummy.
Someone left it here.
Do you know who I am? And I'm saving that for later because we find out who he is later. Yeah.
So now one of the little what do we call these? The little orphans.
6 orphans we were calling them. Yeah, Julie.
Julie
was playing there though too.
But this is the guy. Oh, the ball was bouncing around. She knocked it around. But this
Look
guy,
at the wreath up there on the.
This is the guy here that I was talking about. He might have been reading Kitten magazine before. This is the guy.
Now he just has a mustache and a wig on.
He has a drink in his hand, and the kid takes it out of his hand to start drinking it. And Julie just comes by, grabs it, hands it to him. And he's like, "Oh, I already have a drink."
And he's like, "Yeah, and why not have another?"
And look at this guy. He should have another.
Yeah, you notice isn't the other guy that was looking at Kitten magazine because he was fit.
Okay, all right. So it's not.
But
the
this
same
could
guy.
be the one that was standing up. I think I know what you were. The one that caught on fire. Just throw a wig on this guy and a mustache. And
hey, John, can you come back this week, man? We need you to be another fat slob on the boat. Oh, fat slob? I was born to play the part.
And then we get Donna and Julius here at the bar talking to Isaac.
And he's made I believe that's a pina colada. And she's like, "Oh, that looks good."
And then somebody down at the end of the bar gets their drink, and that's Walter Perry. And Julius confronts him.
And he says he's like, "This drink will make anybody happy." And he gives him a big tip. And Isaac says, "See?" And he walks away with this big tip. He's like, he's smiling.
And then he had to go tell the crew. So he probably went and hang out with Julie and Doc.
And go. Because if Isaac's not working the bar, nobody else is, man. Isaac is working. And there's a scene that's coming up later. I'm not going to spoil it, but I'm going to spoil it. the guy says, "Where's the bar?" And the guy just points that way. I'm like, this is a cruise ship. There is like 80,000 bars on a cruise
everywhere
ship.
you look,
you cannot walk 3 steps without hitting a bar.
So we get Julius was confronting him, and then we get Donna comes over and says, "Walt, what a surprise! She's so excited." Walt says he wants to get together with them later. He's going to catch up with them and walks off. Julius then starts telling Donna that he has figured out who did the actual embezzling of the money, and he's looked at the books every which way possible, from the case, the transcripts and everything, and he finds out that it's definitely him. All signs are pointing to him, and the final sign of him knowing that is seeing Walt face to face, seeing it in his eyes. He said, "I needed to see his eyes."
Yep.
And he sees it. He
Sorry,
figured out.
Am I supposed to say something there?
Well, I mean, I went on a soliloquy.
You did, but you were right. And this is the deepest episode of the.
He says
there's always one.
He went to prison for a crime he didn't commit.
Yeah.
He said,
and she believes him this whole time, and he's like,
she's not saying it's impossible that it's not Walt Perry.
He doesn't tell him that here, right? Does he tell her?
He tells her that he thinks it's her, that it's him. Yeah, he goes through the story saying, "I looked at all the books, everything." That's the part that he tells her here. Okay. Yeah,
sorry,
that's all right.
This one was so deep. I was very troubled by that. Now, is this Silent Night or is this Lonely at the Top?
You'll find out.
Because I'm still not sure.
Not yet. I know. And we get Carol shopping here, right over her.
Because it would make sense that Steubing's story is Lonely at the Top because he's the boss and he's lonely at the top, but they sing Silent Night when he's playing Santa Claus, so that would make sense that he's Santa Claus, but like...
So, again, the dock is near Carol, which you brought up earlier. Every scene that Carol was in, he said he felt like he saw.
Doc's bird dogging her.
And Doc says he should have married her because she's asking the prices of things rather than just buying them.
Dude, rewind it like 10 seconds there.
That guy walked by again?
No. Over Doc's shoulder. Kitten Magazine right there.
Oh,
look at that. Kitten Magazine.
What a find.
And that might be the one with Meredith
Doc's
Baxter
also
on
looking at it. That's the girl on the cover. That's Kitten Magazine. See it?
So that is a...
Doc is a perv, too. He's like that guy that was laying on the deck.
And he's just standing there talking to Mrs. Brady, reading Playboy or Kitten Magazine.
Right,
awesome!
Wow, that was a nice find. But yeah, Doc's reading it too. What a dick! Like, come on, read that in your own room.
Magazine. That's so good that they leave that.
So
in
this is
as
where
a
Florence then gets the idea that she's just going to buy everything now to piss Shecky off.
Because Doc says the reason that he got divorced was because his ex-wives spent all his money. Is that what it was?
Yep. And then we got our...
So she's going to spend all his money.
So we got our elevator scene where Shecky learns...
These two women are talking in the background about...
That lady right there is... I've seen her in Happy Days.
Green dress or blue dress?
Green dress.
Okay.
She's the waitress on Happy Days.
Oh, okay.
You tell me if you don't see that right here. She's the waitress on Happy Days. Keep talking to Brian right now. I'm going to pull up the waitress from Happy Days just to show you.
Brian, what do you think? Green dress, blue dress?
I know I should have had it. I should have had this one ready.
Struck me about
Blue
her.
dress is talking about how she just got divorced and her husband divorced her because she ran up the credit cards.
And these two women just ran into each other randomly on a cruise ship. How often does that happen?
We have to move the plot along so Shecky Greene has to overhear this.
See,
that's her. Okay.
Yeah.
And she's a Happy Days waitress?
That's her. I think that's
it looks
her.
like her. Sure.
It could be, all right. So, and Shecky finds out that, or what he overhears the two ladies talking about is that her ex embarrassed her all the time. So Shecky decides he's going to get really drunk. And she said that her ex embarrassed her so much that at her uncle's funeral, he wore a black lampshade.
Yes.
Which is silly,
as a big fat drunk, I've never understood the lampshade joke. I've never ever worn a lampshade.
But trope for sure.
Yeah, but I've never gotten that. I've never gotten that joke. Like, what's with the lampshade thing? First of all, who's got lampshades anymore?
And there was a Stephen King.
Oh, and this is where the guy. And that's where Shecky says, "Where's the bar?" And the guy just over his shoulder goes like, doesn't say that way. He just goes
off, and he just gets in the elevator. Stephen King just gets in the elevator.
Stephen King.
We get Doc, Isaac, Gopher, and
Gopher's
Julie,
the expert of
decorating,
dressing a tree here.
Oh, he was so annoying, right? Doc was pissed off with him.
Gopher was annoying before when he was talking about his Christmas day. Like, no one wants to hear about it.
Nobody wants to hear about his tree. He's like, it's just not necessary. They forgot about. They said, "You forgot the angel." They said, "How about a purser?"
How about a purser? We'll hang a purser.
Here was our second elevator scene with Doc and
the captain and
I'm sorry, captain and
father,
Tennille.
Father and captain,
captain and father. And the captain's asking Father Mike, for a joke.
Oh, this is the joke scene.
This is the joke scene.
Oh my god! Please focus on Captain Stubing's eyes during this joke.
When he's telling it,
no,
when he's
listening to it. Please look at his face while he's telling this terrible joke about a Martian comes down and he walks into a bar and he sees a pinball machine. He goes up and he says, "Hey, what's a nice person like you doing in a bar like this?" And that's the joke, and it's not funny. But look at Stubing's face. He's like,
wow, it's like he doesn't want to miss a point. He's like, he had to get everything.
Let me take this all in.
I think Dick Sargent has to be laughing at his face here, right? Look at him. I think I got it.
And then finally Stubing's like, I got it. Okay, good joke.
But he's like, oh, so she's a pinball machine, but it's not really a person. It's a pinball machine. Okay. Let me go tell this joke to these people.
You don't want to go to a priest for a joke.
But he told him, he said the bishop told him some funnier ones in Latin.
Yes, he's like, it's funnier in Latin. Yes, for sure.
They're also talking, the crew here is talking about who will play Santa this year.
Oh, and Julie's volunteering
goes,
herself. All 105 pounds of Julie saying, I could be Santa.
Although that could be fun, Julie dressing up as Santa.
But none of these guys are big and fat anyway. It doesn't matter. It's not like they got like a character on this that is the natural fit for
Why does Santa have to be fat?
Well, because Santa's fat. Right? Isn't Santa just fat?
I got some news for you.
Has he lost some weight?
Santa's not real.
Did the diabetes get him finally?
We got to put a warning on this one now, right? Nobody under... What's the age now for kids learning about Santa?
7?
7.
Did you ever tell your kids about Santa? Like, when were your kids finding out about Santa?
7? That seems super
it's probably
young.
Like 10.
It's like 5th grade is when I found out.
5th grade was you? Like, when did your kids find out?
So that's about 10. Yeah.
When did your kids find out? I really, honestly don't remember when I found out myself.
We never officially told them.
Wait, you went fishing with them?
on Christmas. It's cold here in Jersey. Whew, ice fishing.
No, but we never told them. Like, to this day, we never said.
So they just knew event, and it just went on. Like
they just figured it out.
I think some of his.
Did it ever come to where? Did you put the tags on the presents like from Santa?
Yeah. So
when did it change to from mom and dad?
My mom still does that.
Yeah,
my mom gives presents and says from Santa, and I'm like, oh, look at Santa got me this.
Then when somebody's opening, they're like, who gave me this? You're like, that wasn't.
It's so funny as an adult with Santa and all that when you're like, oh, wow, you got that? Oh, yeah, Santa brought me that. I'm like, dude, I got you that. Like, I want a little bit of credit. And when Michelle and I were giving presents to the kids all grown up, some presents came from Santa, some presents came from us.
Like, this is one we paid for.
And the good presents came from us. And Santa brought, like, the stocking gift.
Santa brought a dartboard.
The silly putty, the Jolly Ranchers that were in the stocking. You know, okay, Santa brought that, but the good shit came from us.
The Xbox One, that's parents.
The
mom and dad.
The Jawa Sandcrawler Lego, that's from Daddy. That is not from Santa. I want the credit for that. Dad, help me set this up. Oh, no. Santa gave me that one.
I would have loved to have built that.
Oh, God. That was like a whole week. I had a whole week off between Christmas and New Year's, and I set up that stupid Sandcrawler.
And then he just broke it, right? It just fell.
I don't even care. But he was like, can I just get the one that's like put together? I'm like, no kidding, right? Like, let's go buy the one that's already just like put together and doesn't fall apart.
He got 2 gifts out of it. He knew what he was doing. He got 2 gifts out of it.
I don't like Lego. I don't like the fact that Lego, like...
Lego is so awesome.
I'm not a fan of it.
Lego, my sponsor, Lego.
Oh, Lego, I love you. Can I have a Lego Death Star, please?
Another sponsor you destroyed for us.
Look, Lego.
What else did I destroy?
We could have Lego Millennium Falcon for you.
What's that?
Netflix.
Oh, fuck Netflix. And Bud Light, if we're on it. Bud Light, like, I don't want them as a sponsor either.
Anything Budweiser's out.
Yeah. But Bud Light especially.
Imagine Budweiser's coming to us. We really want you. We really need this vodka. Like, nah. Yeah. How about this, Budweiser? Fuck you. Okay, so the crew was talking about again.
Well, Stubing told a joke.
Stubing's telling the joke now to the crew, and he calls it.
He's like, I walk into the Martian walks into the bar and says,
"What's a pinball machine like you doing here?"
Yeah, he
messes up the joke, and
Father
really
Mike has to say, "You're just not good with kids." I'm good with kids.
Captain says he's going to play Santa, and the crew basically walks away like, huffing and puffing. Like
this doesn't feel authentic to the way the crew should be reacting around Captain Steubing after 12 cruises.
Do you think this episode was filmed like right after the pilot?
This seems more like that kind
pilot.
of Steubing. He is not down with these people at this point.
Especially the like not knowing them to like try to learn. Like, you've been on 12 cruises. This is a 3-day
You would
cruise.
at least know something about them.
This is a 3-day cruise here. You figure some of those others are 5 to 10-day cruises. He's got to be.
What kind of
How
off time
how
do
he
you get?
hasn't had sex with Julie by now? I mean, come on. He's got to know what she likes.
Or any of the other female crew members who we've never ever met yet.
Julie was asking for snow in this episode,
Yes.
is all I'm going to say.
Well, she gets it eventually. It costs her job, but she gets it.
Just for one season. I think she comes back.
She's only gone for one season.
I really do. Yeah, it's like she was penalized, like Michael Jordan when he was gambling. So
We'll make you retire for a year.
Go play with the White Sox. Okay, so we're at the
This is the Christmas party.
Christmas party here. They're drinking Isaac's punch made with a secret recipe. And their secret recipe is fruit juice and rum.
With no fruit juice.
The secret recipe is leave out the fruit juice. Yeah, that's it. And then the kids try to get some.
The kid puts his hand under Gopher's arm and says, give
He had a good voice.
Give me a refill here.
And that's why it was fun what they do at the end.
Gopher doing Captain Steubing's voice.
I love what they do at the end. We'll get there, but
Oh, I know what you're talking with the 3 midgets in a jacket thing. Yeah. Oh, can you say midgets?
he spoiled it. But
I'm saying midgets.
he spoiled it.
Come
I
at me,
was like-
midgets. I'll kick all your asses.
And they saw that it was like a giant pitcher of like red juice.
Yeah.
They were handed something very orange.
I thought it was
color.
milk they were pouring at first when I thought that
They
was
got
just the
themselves
color
a
of
big
the
gold
jar.
cup of orange juice. We get Donna and
Caesar.
Julius Caesar here and trying to have a good time. And she's saying, forget about Walt and we'll just go and have our dinner or whatnot. And she notices that he doesn't have a handkerchief. So she's like, oh, let's get a handkerchief. And
Is
then,
that what leads to the opening of the suitcase? No handkerchief?
no handkerchief?
Have you
for
ever
his
had a
suit
handkerchief in
jacket.
your suit?
Sorry.
Ever?
I have, yes.
Have you really? Oh, I've
Yes.
never had
Wow.
that.
Nice. That was not the answer you were hoping for. I don't know. You're right.
Well, I've never had it,
Yeah.
so I wasn't sure if that was maybe
He doesn't know what it's like.
a generational thing. But you're my generation, so maybe.
You're talking about his generation too.
So
So underneath that handkerchief, we find a
handgun.
gun, and then Donna's like,
What kind of
"You
gun
knew
is that?"
Walt was going to be. I don't know guns that well.
I
That's
don't
why
either. I was hoping
we
maybe
needed
one of you
Mac
guys-
for this
Yeah,
episode.
I was hoping one of you guys could like tell me what that is.
I just saw when she picked it up, and it didn't flop over. Handguns are heavy.
Also,
Definitely plastic.
why she picks it up to put her. She gets her handprints all over it here. Like her fingerprints
And
are
he
all
says,
over this.
"Thank you very much."
And he's like, I already did it. Your fingerprints are the only ones on there.
He's already
No,
dead.
He didn't already do it. I don't want to.
So
ruin
he's
it
got
for
now. It
everybody
comes out that they went on this cruise specifically because he knew this guy was going to be on the cruise,
And he had an
and
ulterior
he was
motive.
going to assassinate this guy on the cruise.
And once again, we show our lack in security because he got that gun on there very
listen,
easily.
man, this is 30 years before 9/11. There's no security.
What's 9/11?
Oh, that hasn't happened yet. But 20 years ago today it happened. So it's not 50 years ago, but it's 25 years before 9/11.
Yeah.
Right?
77, 3, makes 23, 24. Yeah.
Okay. So no one's looking for a gun.
It checks out.
What
I'll
was I
allow
saying?
it.
I don't even know what I'm talking about.
I don't even know where I'm at anymore. So after the gun talk and like he kind of puts it away, like he's not going to do it. Basically, they hug, and we see a hammered Shecky asking for another bottle of champagne from Isaac, who's actually doing his job here.
Well, Isaac's been in it. This is a very the whole cast has been well represented in this whole episode. This is not one of those ones where you're like, what happened to Doc this one? What happened to Isaac this one? Everybody's got their little moments.
He asks what color lampshade would go with a Christmas cruiser, or what color lampshade goes with his outfit, and he says it all depends on what color your socks are.
And he looks at his socks and he wants another bottle of champagne because
So Carol shows up and she sees him.
oh, Jesus Christ, what the hell is that?
Andy just got shot.
I just realized, oops. I should have did that when they found the gun.
This is a great episode.
It's always great when Brian talks off mic. Why don't you have that mic on all the time, man?
Because this thing was
He just did the handgun. He did a handgun. We're in the next scene already. Shecky Greene's getting drunk, and all of a sudden he just gets shot. Who shot JR?
That sounded like a real gunshot.
Yeah, I jumped. I thought someone came up from behind.
Oh my God.
I'm going to do it one more time. Oh, I muted it.
That's a muted gunshot.
I can't work with these amateurs, I swear to God.
Well, if I leave that one on, then there's definitely going to be a hiss.
Try it. Just so you could test it, because some of this is getting edited out.
Well,
right?
and actually, anytime I get an email or a text,
I will get it.
it'll come through. Yeah, that's why. That's why I muted it. I also want to hear what this sound does.
I didn't think that one was going to stop. It's just like a new sound after each one. One more time. That's so good. I'm sorry. Okay. So Shecky's getting hammered here when Carol comes over and she's questioning why he's drunk, and she hands over a bunch of receipts. And he's like, well, what's this for? I got to pay for this now. And so they're basically arguing a little bit. She says, he goes, she goes, is there something you want to ask me for? Begins with a D. And I was like, whoa, where's this going? And then
dildo?
And
what?
Then it begins with a D, dance. So they started dancing.
So they do dance.
And he dances really obnoxiously. And he says, is there something you want to ask me? And she goes, yeah, get off my foot. These jokes are perfect for Shecky Greene. They really are.
He needs that stupid sound wave after everything he says.
Every time he chimes it, every time he presses the mic to turn it on, that sound should happen. Shecky didn't have bad moves here, I thought. It just didn't seem like the right time for them because it was a slower song.
Well, you can tell Florence Henderson's like a pro. She's a dancer in her previous life as a...
With Mike?
Well,
or was that pre-Mike?
Probably.
How come we never
dancing in her background?
After the first episode, you don't hear anything about the Carol Martin's husband and Mike Brady's ex-wife.
Do we ever? Are they divorcees?
I want to say
widowers.
I want to say Mike Brady. I think he was a widower. Because Bobby had a picture of his mom, and he thought he had to hide it because Carol was moving in. That's the pilot.
Oh, wow. I don't remember that.
And
what's the wife look, the ex-wife look, the mom look like?
She had like black hair. She was cute.
She wasn't dark hair like Carol Brady?
Well, Carol Brady was like blonde.
Right, I'm saying.
She was darker hair, yeah.
She was dark, not like Carol Brady, blonde.
I think that was like 7 negatives in there, so I got really confused. She's not blonde, but I was like, I don't know.
I still haven't recovered from that sound effect. I swear to God, that really threw me off.
Well, that's where we're at with the episode, so we're more than halfway through. I thought you'd be happy to see that. But it ties up pretty quick here near the end, though.
Well, he hasn't even tried to kill this guy yet.
Oh,
sorry.
Wait your scene, son.
For those people that haven't watched this episode before you listen to us.
Well, during this scene is when we... Julius overhears
this is that guy again.
He,
by the way, this is the guy getting the punch here.
Walter Perry basically tells some stranger about how he dicked
like,
some guy over.
Hey, I stole this money.
I stole the money.
I set this other guy up for it. And that guy that he's talking to is the guy from earlier in the day on the deck getting a drink. The fat mustache guy.
See, they used him well because they changed it up a little bit, you know. But right here,
that's how I want to be cast
Donna,
in the show, fat mustache guy. That's what I want to be known as.
Donna walks over to the punch and sees that Julius wasn't there, so she walks up, I guess, onto the deck to try and find him.
Because she's like, this guy, he's armed. Now, Steubing shows up in a ill-fitting Santa Claus outfit. I didn't quite get the whole concept here of him showing up at Santa. I mean, I get it. It's Christmas time. Someone's got to play Santa. But then he's giving presents to the 6 children that are on board this cruise ship, and that's fine. It's a love boat. There should be no children on it. But
there was funny when Steubing was like, ho, ho, ho. But Doc was like, no.
And he's like, that's the only thing he knows how to say or something.
Why was Doc so mad about it? But then he said Steubing looked good. So I thought that was weird the way they did that. And then he counts out 5 gifts.
Yeah. So he didn't even think to know how many kids were on this cruise ship. And
I want to say from the look Father Mike gives him afterwards, Father Mike had to be like, I told you 6.
Yeah, because Mike gives him the side eye like, wah, wah, like, dude, really?
But also,
you messed this up.
I'm spoiling something if I give it away, if I say it. So everybody knows that it's
what?
him that
that he's the cruise.
You know what I mean?
The mysterious
like,
man.
If these kids, but these kids know it too. So why would they not know that Steubing he wouldn't do that on purpose?
They know. Yes.
So that doesn't work right in the storyline. I felt because those kids would know Steubing took them to the ball game last month.
Right.
So
and
why
it'll be back
he's
next
like,
month.
I'll get it to you tomorrow. I would believe Steubing if he's been taking me to ball games and shit like that.
And
right? I mean,
no, you're right. You're 100% right.
101% right.
Well, you can't be more than 100% right about something. Can you be more than 100% right?
All right. Brian says no off mic.
No.
Now the sound would have been perfect, man.
So
okay, so again we have the
so Mike goes, come on, dude. You couldn't.
He patted the kid on the bum too, so he's got a close relationship with these kids.
Who did the priest did?
No,
or
Steubing patted him on the bum. Excuse me. So there was no gift for Tony.
And Steubing just like sulks away, like,
and then the crew feels sad for.
I'm just gonna walk away. But
Father Mike pats him on the shoulder, like, "Come on, dude, you got to do better than this."
But all the other kids that got presents are very excited. They're like, "Well, who cares about Tommy that didn't get one? Don't pause this anymore."
You keep talking through it, we're going to lose. We almost missed the whole scene. That's the reason why I paused it, because we would not have had Walter Perry talking to the stranger with the drink.
Stop pausing it. Let's go.
Stop laughing at his whistle, and we'll get there.
So now Caesar confronts William Walt Perry up here,
and he has the gun. He puts the gun right to his rib cage. Yep, he said, "I've been looking for you." Walt says he's been looking for Julius Caesar. Obviously, he hasn't been.
Right. I thought this was one of the Smothers brothers for a while. This guy,
he does look like one.
Like
at first, when he first came on, yeah. He says it wasn't his fault. Obviously, he was lying, but then he says he needed the money.
Now, Donna Mills,
because he lost in the market.
Right,
that's what he said.
And Donna Mills is on deck now. She overhears.
I have to pause this for 1 second because this tells you where this name's a story here. Because when he has the gun up there, they're singing "Silent Night." This is "Silent Night" right here.
Oh, that's deep. I guess I missed that.
That's what made him, not shoot him.
Hearing "Silent Night," he throws the gun into the ocean.
Oh.
That leaves Lonely at the top for one other story.
Well, I get the Steubing lonely at the top, although I kind of thought this guy might have been lonely at the top because he was...
But he was in prison, so he wasn't at the top.
He wasn't lonely.
Can't really say that.
He wasn't lonely in prison.
He had some friends.
Usually the storylines are much more obvious to the title. Silent Night. This is Silent Night, this thing?
Silent Night, because it's playing here, and he's about to shoot this guy, but he listens to the song Silent Night. I could sing that, right?
I'm sure that's public domain. That's like a 300-year-old song.
Yeah, the way you were just singing it.
That wasn't any of the keys or notes that were ever played for that song?
I think I said the words backwards.
By the way, one of the worst Christmas songs, Silent Night. I hate it. I hate hearing it.
It's been overplayed in every movie.
And then Carol Brady sings Noel later on.
First Noel.
Also terrible. I hate Christmas songs.
If you had to hear a Christmas song, which one would you want to hear?
Grinch or Rudolph or something like that. Like, I hate Christmas songs. Christmas Time in Hall's Queens, maybe.
Beach Boys, Frosty the Snowman's a good one.
I'm a big humbucker.
Or you were just talking about John and Yoko. You could do Happy Christmas, War's Over.
War's over.
The war's over. Can we do John Lennon like this?
Sure, because you sound nothing like that.
You sound like Ringo.
Yeah, I'm a big anti-Christmas Carol person.
Yeah.
Christmas Carol Brady. Sorry.
No, that was good. I liked it.
Bump. Yeah, good. Get that in there. I'm going to talk over it so you can't edit out your 15-second.
So we get Captain walking out by the
space there.
Walks out where everybody left the party. It's just nothing. And then we find.
And he's like, Tommy, are you out here? Are you in the pool? Where are you, Tommy?
I hate to do this to you. His name's Tony, but
is it Tony?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But he did the whole Tommy thing. I liked it, so that's why I kept.
I honestly don't even know what. The
and that was out of
tune
tune too, so we can use that.
I wasn't doing the song.
I thought
Tommy.
you were
No,
Tommy, can you see me?
I know it was a rock opera, but it was an actual opera.
So we get a lot of Steubing here.
So
now.
This kid's hiding in the changing room.
That's a shower in season episode 1.
Yeah, when Bonnie Franklin was getting yelled at. Yeah, this is
right before she got told to go to her room.
I'm not sure what that thing is still. Is it a
I
shower?
think it's an outdoor shower because it's by the pool.
Okay, it's got a
Yeah, I
handle
think
in there.
in that episode, you pointed out it had an actual shower head.
It's got a
Yeah.
handle for sure, like a handle you grip onto in the shower. I need a grip in the shower.
But Stubing gives a gift to Tony, and he says, "This is the football I asked for."
And it's not the football it asked for, but let me tell you something. What he gave him is so much more significant.
Oh, that was awesome.
I was
thought it
like,
a
I
gift.
would have been like, this thing is friggin' awesome, man. And I don't even know what
You
the
wanna
name
tell
of this thing.
everybody what it
I
is?
don't know what the name of it is.
I know what it
It's
is.
a
It's
what
a
is it, Brian?
sextant.
It was a sextant.
It's a sex what now?
Am I
A
saying
sex
it wrong?
toy?
Sextant.
Sextant.
Sextant? Sextant.
Yeah, sextant.
Sextaint.
It's an instrument they use to navigate the ship. This one belonged to
By
the
using
captain.
the stars and his father before him.
Yep, and then you
I'm
think
a
Star
Jedi
Wars?
like my father before me.
Star Wars so bad.
And this is where Stubing says
But also,
that,
let's give a shout out to Phil Silvers, who played Meryl
oh, that's right.
Stubing,
Yeah, sure. That's
Senior.
right. He's talking about Meryl Stubing Sr. And this is where Captain Stubing says that the captain, because he's in character as Santa Claus here, saying the captain used this when he was in World War
Second
II.
World War. Yep.
And that, we were
He
talking
said
about that
it's
at
beat
some
up,
point.
and it means a lot to him.
We were talking about that at some point where obviously Captain Stubing was in the Navy at some point. You don't become a captain of a ship without probably having served in the Navy. But we were wondering if it was maybe Korea because he was too young for World War II.
Yeah.
Gavin McLeod was too young for World War II. Captain Stubing apparently was not.
He's playing a little older character than he is in real life. Yeah.
I mean, he would have had to been born in the 20s to even be on a boat in the 40s in the Navy.
Yeah, because you figure, yeah.
And then that would mean he's in his 50s now, even though we know he's only 46. Just like you, Jason.
What? So the captain says it's beat up, but it means a lot to him. He says, "I'm sorry if it's not what you wanted," to Tony, but Tony says he really likes it.
I hope
So
Tony held on to that thing. I hope Tony
I
still
believe he
has
did.
that thing.
And when they give gifts later, I thought that they were giving it back to him for some
but
reason.
no, I
thought.
think,
But,
Stubing doesn't have any kids,
one thing that
according to
Tony
him right
mentions
now,
there-
so he doesn't have a kid to give it to, so it's good that he gave it to Tony.
One thing that Tony said
Vicky's
there,
going
though-
to come to him later and be like, yo, I want my dad's thing back, my sex tent back.
Tony said,
my
"I
dad has a
understand."
sex tent for me?
He said, "No, I understand." He said, "I used to ask for parents, but I never got them."
Oh.
So it was like, it was laying on, and then Captain says that that's a big order for Santa to fill. Tony says, "It don't matter. I have a big family with Father Mike and the guys." So he said, "Thanks, Captain." I mean, Santa, playing
he
on.
knew.
So, but he obviously, but he knows the captain from coming to visit
All his monthly
orphanage and
visits.
everything. Yeah,
He's the
taking
monthly
him to ball
visit.
games and
And
everything.
we missed it here, but
Oh, I'm not. I didn't pause it. You told me not to
we're not.
pause it.
Shecky Greene came back to the room with the lampshade on his head, and she's like, "Take the lampshade off," and that was the end of that scene.
It was real quick. He's like, "You gonna buy everything?" And she says, "Yeah, you're funny." All of a sudden, he's funny, and they kiss.
Yeah,
he says she's beautiful.
They resolved
and
all their
kiss.
differences because he got loaded. As I'm a
Shecky
big
Greene's
fan
one
of,
episode weak. Carol, I could see why Carol Brady came back 9 more times because she had to prove herself.
one of the great philosophers of life, of all things in the world,
Who's that?
Homer Simpson,
Homer Simpson.
once said, "To alcohol, the cause of and solution to all of life's problems." And alcohol saved the marriage because Shecky Greene said at the beginning he's a teetotaler. He gets wasted. All of a sudden they hook up.
Yeah,
And
she finds him
alcohol,
funny.
Alcohol saved their marriage.
He finds her pretty
Yeah.
after the alcohol.
Beer goggles.
She finds
He's
him
got
funny.
champagne
That's
goggles.
there.
Although she's still Florence Henderson, she's still hot. But
But
so anyway,
I mean, I wonder if she's still going to buy things though. I'm curious.
Captain
about that.
Stubing goes back to his palatial cabin, and the whole crew's
And there was
in there.
like a surprise Christmas
Yeah.
party for him. Father Mike and the crew are there, and
They talk about it. They
mention
put
how
all their feelings on the
it's
line here,
fun to have Christmas with the passengers, but it's more fun to have it with the family.
and we're a family.
And they're a family, and he's not just a captain to them. He's also
And
he's also the
Julie
father.
actually turns away from the camera because she's about to cry, and they get him a present.
well, he's the head of the family. They didn't say father, but so then it turned into a mafia movie.
Okay,
But it was their family, and yeah, Julie she said, "Oh, this beard's making me itchy too," because that's what he said, because he had tears in his eyes.
and
yeah.
so they give him a gift, and he says, "I specifically said no gifts."
And he was
then
like
he goes to
mean
his
about
desk
it,
and
yeah.
pulls out a bunch
You
of gifts.
knew he
for
was
them.
going to
Oh,
grab
of course.
gifts. I mean, go.
So they all pass the gifts around. I don't.
Father Mike had a line there too. Said sometimes we try hard to get what we've had all along, meaning that the crew and everybody, you're all friendly. You just didn't realize it, I guess.
Is that what they meant?
That's what I picked up. Brian?
Yeah, I would say that.
I don't think
they don't actually show them open the gifts up. I would kind of like to
was
see
hoping
what the crew got.
That gift that he gave Goat.
Captain.
Do you know what the captain got Julie?
No.
A fart first? Is that what happened?
No, that was
I believe that's a zipper going down.
Zipper, okay. I hope that zipper is going to be for Doc in future episodes.
So Cal Brady is serenading everybody with Noel.
The first Noel in the dining.
Second
worst
like the
choral
Christmas
dining
song.
room again, right?
Yeah, but they got the whole. There's no captain's table this time. Like everybody's at the table. The kids,
everybody,
Shecky and Carol, Caesar and Morgan Fairchild. Everybody's
They're
there.
excited for their
Or Donna
turkey
Mills,
dinner,
not
and then
Donna
Doc says to Gopher that the captain wanted rubber flags put in because
Yes.
there's some rain coming.
And Gopher's about to stand up,
And he's like, you
rubber
guys."
flags. I would have fell for it. I would have been up on deck.
I was falling for it too.
I would have been up on deck going like, "Where are the rubber flags? Like, where? What?"
And that's why he's not the purser.
Yes. I fall for all those gags.
There was a lot of laughter after that, and then we get we're gonna get Julius Caesar and Donna going to the They're looking for the captain's table, but Walt stops Julius before they get to the captain's
And he's
table.
like, "I don't want to talk to you." And he
There's a
grabs
bit of a
him.
scuffle, too, yeah.
There's a kerfuffle going on. I
he
thought there was
grabs
going to
his
be
arm, yeah.
Yeah.
But Julius played a calm. He's like, "Listen, bitch, I don't want anything to do with you." You know,
And Dick Smothers is like, "Listen, I confess to everything."
When
I called
turning
the
myself
cops
in
already.
when we get to shore, and he said he also called the bar commission, so he'll be practicing law again very soon. So he's going to get his
I know nothing about the law.
bar exam
I mean,
or whatever, right?
I know little about the law. I know how to stay out of the eye of the law. There's no way I've
been trying to stay out of the law
as
but
an LA lawyer,
doxing
this
me.
guy would have ever confessed to the crime and ever done this. No
honestly,
chance.
you know what I thought he was going to say? Here's it. I got a little bit of the money left. Let me give you some, get you back on your feet. That's what I thought was going to happen here.
I spent it all on coke.
He
When I
really
went back
looks
to my
like a
room-
Smothers brother.
Yeah, he
there.
looks like
Wow.
Dick Smothers. Yeah, for sure. But it's not him. I'm sure the Smothers
It's definitely
brothers
not
will
him.
be on
It's
here.
not him because I
eventually.
looked up his name, but he was like not.
He's nothing.
He wasn't
yeah.
one of the ones that we saw on the screen.
Yeah, he's like one of those guys that was on like Mary Tyler Moore and Fantasy Island and every other show that had a million guest stars on it.
So they join the table, the captain's table, and then Doc's talking to Father Mike that some of the guys have collected some like sports equipment and books and stuff.
Kitten magazines we want to give to the kids.
They want to know where to send it, and this is where Tony gives up the captain's secret. It says, "Just give it to the captain; he could bring it next time he visits." And Captain like kind of nudges him under the table.
Hey,
Not a little too close,
don't
if you
be
know what
giving
I'm
away
saying.
my secret.
And then Tony says, "Yeah, he comes every month." And
Okay.
and then, yeah, I see what he's going. Comes every month. He was going for there.
Okay.
And then the captain, he said, "Oh, he must have me confused with another captain." He was doing the whole, "Oh, not me,
Hey, not me.
that other captain."
No respect, eh?
He's like, and the kid's like,
And
"No,
so
you-"
let's eat some turkey.
and that's where the kid's like, "You're crazy! You took us to the ball game last month. What are you talking about?" You know,
That's great that Steubing does that for the kids.
That was really nice. And
Steubing is
Julie says, "Are you the mystery
Warm-hearted
man
guy.
paying for the cruise?" And the captain said, "Bah humbug."
bah humbug.
And then he started carving the turkey.
Yeah,
And then nothing was said about that after that.
ever.
They just
Again.
changed the scene, and Julius and Donna are saying goodbye, and Gopher says you're a lot happier now because he was
Because
remember what his line in the beginning was like, "You need some sun."
He's cleared of all charges, so he can get on with his life.
That's
I
the-
guess
he does that expression. The first day, the rest of my life. I can't stand that
that's
expression.
one of the worst hackneyed kind of expressions.
That's
the first
so
day.
ridiculous.
And now Cal Brady and Shecky are getting off the boat.
They confessed they both wanted to
get
divorce
divorced.
each other.
He's
before
wearing
they
a
got on
terrible
there.
hat. I mean, that hat's not from the 70s. That's from like the 30s. That's a terrible hat.
And then
and she sings and he blows his nose just
they're
like
just
they
two
did.
annoying people that annoy each other, and they're meant for each other.
I really don't think Florence Henderson's an annoying person. I think I could be married to her.
I could get along with Carol. Yeah,
Yeah,
I honestly think I'd have a good time with Shecky.
Well, I wouldn't be married to him, but if you wanted to hang out, if you wanted to come over and watch the game, yeah. I'd be down
And
with that.
Shecky, you are out there if you want to come over and watch the games tomorrow.
Come on over.
I should follow him on Twitter.
Is he the only guy still alive from this guest? Or I guess Donna Mills is probably still alive, right?
Yeah, John Gavin died like 2018. I saw that was a Caesar.
And the kids are getting off the boat with the father, and they do the old.
Dick Sargent died, I think, in the 90s.
Yeah, he definitely died.
Did he make
a
it to the
while
90s?
ago.
Maybe.
So the kids get off the boat with Father Phil, and they get Father Phil from The Sopranos.
Did
and
you
they
see
do
the
the
gift he
old.
gave him? The kid gave the captain a gift first. Did you see what the kids gave him?
Oh no! Did I miss
Yeah,
that?
he said the kids are thanking the captain, and they
Did he
handed
give
him
him
a bottle of
stink bomb?
champagne.
Oh, right. Where'd they get the
And
bottle
the
of champagne
captain's like,
from?
"What? How do you do that?"
And
he
that's
said,
when the
yeah.
kids they played the
He
old.
he did the where there's a will, there's a way kind of. He did that line.
The kids were on top of each other's shoulders doing.
Just
the,
made me think of like Little Rascals, like
Yeah.
sneaking into the movies as a Little Rascals. They got 3 kids going in as a one with the executive trench coat.
executive trench coat. Maury Seinfeld sold to him.
That was,
sold trench coats for 30 years.
That was this week's Christmas episode.
Merry Christmas, everybody. It's Thanksgiving time now, so Christmas is right around the corner.
Hopefully,
and-
you listen to this podcast right after you watch the parade.
Yes, you should watch the Thanksgiving Day parade. The Cowboys get beat. The Lions probably lose, to whoever they're playing. And then watch the Christmas episode of The Love Boat and listen to this podcast.
And like and subscribe where you get all your podcasts on all platforms pretty much, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we're on everything.
We're on everything now, huh?
Yeah.
Man, the internet will never be the same, man.
We're out there, and I'm loving every minute of it. You can reach us. Let me read next week's episode. I'm sorry, I almost forgot to read the guest stars for next week's episode. And let's see who we have lined up for next week. We got Will Geer, Geer, and he played most notably grandfather on the Waltons. Then we get Artie Johnson.
Oh, yeah, I watched this episode.
Artie Johnson from
Laughing.
Okay.
Yep. He's a short guy.
Nothing.
Yeah.
He's not. I see nothing. That's Schultz. He's
Oh, I know. I know.
he does the German guy. Yeah.
I know nothing.
That's Schultz from Hogan's Heroes.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
Very interesting.
Yes. Very interesting.
Pat Morita is in this episode.
The first owner of Al's. So we had the other owner of
Al
Al's a
Molinaro
couple
was
weeks
Chef
ago. So
Al Borga, or
now we got
Antonia Borga.
So now we got the next.
So we
owner
get
of
Pat
Al's.
Morita, and then Tom.
Will you talk about Happy Days next week? Probably.
I'm pretty sure because I'm not done yet.
Oh God! Oh no! Whoa! Keep going.
Tom Poston. is in this episode.
Okay, from Newhart.
Can I say the other person?
Wait. Hang on. Tom Poston's from
Poston,
Newhart,
Newhart,
and he was in something else. But Newhart, he was like the handyman on that show. He was in something else. I don't remember.
And there's only one other person left, and I'm going to let Brian say who it is.
Potsy.
Oh, Anson Williams. Okay.
Yeah. Nice.
Jason and I almost got his autograph a couple of years ago.
I
at a
did get
book
his
signing.
autograph at Chiller. Yeah.
But remember that
But we almost got it at
the day we went and got Stephen. We were going to get
that was going
Stephen
to be the
King's.
third out of the right. Yeah,
we tried to get Stephen King's. We missed out on that. We went and got Dice's, and then we
were going to
Anson Williams.
if we go,
was
we
in
got to
North
wait.
Jersey.
We got to walk around New York for another 3.5 hours, and then we could get Anson Williams. I was like,
we didn't.
I was like, Andy was going to fall apart. I think I fell apart.
I was
yeah.
like asleep on the train going home, and you're like, "You want to get off in Newark? Go get Anson Williams." I'm like, "No." Maybe Donnie Most, not Anson Williams.
Funny, I got Donnie Most, that same Chiller. He signed his record. I have one of Donnie Most albums signed by him.
You did albums?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was one of those.
Anson
guys.
Williams has some albums out. You got it. Yeah.
Wow.
Chachi has 2 albums out. Who's going to be at Chiller next month?
I know. Michelle can't wait.
It's going to be so much fun. Are you coming with us?
I think I might.
Oh, yeah. It's going to be a good time.
I got to find someone that I want to see. Someone's there. I think there's a
Jamie Farr.
I think there's a Jason or two there that I want to go see.
Yeah, it's not Kane Hodder.
No,
though.
Kane's the main Jason. Even though he wasn't in Friday the 13th till like Friday the 13th Part 8.
Oh,
but
Kid from Kid and Play is going to be there, right?
Racerhead? I
Yeah.
love him, man.
There was somebody else, I think. I can't think of it.
Yeah, but I think you're right. I think there's like the last couple MASH people. Jamie Farr, Mike Farrell,
Hot Lips
maybe
is going to be
Loretta
there.
Swit.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll have her do a spot for our podcast.
Should I get Jamie
'Cause she was
Farr?
married to Mike Brady, right? In one of those.
Should I get Jamie Farr to sign my Cannonball Run poster? Because I have
You
Burt Reynolds already
should.
signed on it.
Get him to sign it across his nose on there. They always used to make fun of his
'Cause it
nose.
was- and it was-
Him
yeah.
and Alan Alda would make fun of each other's nose on MASH a lot.
Yeah, that was
They
like
both had
pretty
big
much- yeah,
noses.
They
They're
could,
still alive. They both have big noses.
we
still.
could have both of them on this podcast, and I know Alan Alda does do a podcast. But
Alan Alda. I could
Ronnie
talk to Alan Alda.
Cox, Ronnie Cox from Deliverance.
Ronnie Cox from Deliverance.
Kid and Play. I'm sorry, not just Kid.
Oh, we're
it's
talking
Kid
about.
and
I thought we
Play.
were talking about the next week's episode of Love Boat.
I know.
I was like, Kid and Play on Love Boat.
I apologize. It's not just Kid. It's Kid and Play.
Ronnie Cox.
The MASH reunion. You're getting Loretta Swit, Jamie Farr, and Jeff Maxwell.
Oh, Jeff Maxwell's Igor the chef. Yeah, he's not a big deal.
Kevin Dillon.
I didn't
brother.
watch Entourage.
Tom Berenger. Corbin Burnson.
Can I get him to sign a picture of him and
Chelsea
George
Ross
Costanza?
from Major League also. Leave It to Beaver. Jerry Mathers and Tony Dow.
These guys have been doing conventions for like 50 years now.
Debbie Dunning and Richard Karn from Home Improvement.
I never watched.
Oh, Sam Jones. Flash Gordon.
Flash Gordon. Oh.
Yeah.
I might buy a Flash Gordon poster and have him sign that. I got room for.
Scott Baio. I believe we mentioned that. Heather Thomas. So I thought about getting Scott Baio and Heather Thomas to both sign Zapped.
I think it would be cool to get Heather Thomas to sign that Heather Thomas poster from the 80s, that infamous poster.
Yes.
Like, his only second to the Farrah Fawcett poster was the Heather Thomas poster.
Dave Ellefson is going to be there.
Megadeth. I might have to do that. I'm going to do that. He's got a book, too, My Life with Death. I'm going to get him to sign that. I know what I'm doing.
Bunch of people from Killer Clowns
Dave
from
Ellefson.
Outer Space.
Dickies.
Not the Dickies. They're not going to be there. That would have been cool, though. Harry Hamlin's going to be there.
I mean, I know him, but what's he like? L.A. Law?
Lisa
One of those?
Rinna was there.
Lisa.
Alex Kintner. He played Jeffrey Voorhees played Alex Kintner. That's a kid from Jaws.
Wait, what?
The kid from Jaws.
The kid that got eaten? The one on the raft? Oh, you said Jeffrey Voorhees. I heard Jason.
Voorhees,
Jason Voorhees played the kid in Jaws. I'm like, wait, what? Jason Voorhees was in Jaws?
Chuck Zito is going to be there. Tom Savini. That's a good one. Creep Show.
And like a ton of stuff.
I want my Creep
He
Show
did Jason.
posters,
He only agreed to do Friday the 13th Part 4 because
Dawn
they were
of
going to
the
kill
Dead,
Jason.
From Dusk
And
Till
then he only was
Dawn.
on for 15 more movies after that.
Django Unchained, Machete. A lot of shit.
Oh, wait, who were you saying?
That was all Tom Savini.
Oh, Tom Savini. Yeah.
Mr.
Dusk Till Dawn. Yeah, right.
Mr. Belvedere Reunion.
He was in Mr. Belvedere?
No, there's a Mr. Belvedere Reunion going on.
Is Mr. Belvedere
Not Mr.
still
Belvedere,
alive?
no.
Bob Uecker?
But you're going to have Heather, Marcia, Kevin, and Wesley. No, Bob Uecker. I think he's too old.
I got to be honest. I've never even watched 5 seconds of Mr. Belvedere. I don't even know. Like, I know the premise. Like, he's like their butler or
British
something
butler,
like that.
Yeah.
Never watched
Mackenzie
it.
Phillips is going to be there.
We can get her to sign a One Day at a Time poster.
Remember my idea of finding out everybody who's been on the Love Boat and just getting that signed. That's a cool idea.
I think that's a really good idea. And there's a bunch of people that we already know.
Richard Mazer is going to be there.
Richard Mazer, we were talking about him. He's married to Miss Romano, and he's the thing.
Yeah. Talked about him in
and he was in other stuff,
10
man.
episodes
He's
ago.
like one of those guys that he's like in
Risky
a lot of
Business,
stuff.
The Believers,
Risky Business,
Encino Man.
In Risky
Bad
Business,
to the
is he the
Bone.
Princeton guy that
I think so.
sometimes you just got to say, what the fuck?
I think that's him because I think I see the mustache.
Yeah. He had like the whole beard and stuff like that. He didn't just have the mustache.
Jeffrey Owens from Cosby Show.
I don't know who that is. Is that? Not Denise, the oldest sister, Sonia, Sonia, her husband,
Sanja.
and he was like bagging groceries like a couple years ago, and
Yes.
people called him out, and all of a sudden he got a job again because he was bagging groceries.
Yeah, I think Perry, what's his name? Tyler Perry gave him a job or something like that.
He was on It's Always Sunny, too.
Oh, was he?
That's right, he was. Yeah,
When they were doing the football tryouts.
that's one of his credits too.
Yes.
Here, look, it's always sunny. When
Wow.
they dropped acid,
Yes.
right? Yeah.
Oh my God.
That's a pretty good lineup, though. Tiffany Helm from Friday the 13th, Part 5.
Part 5. Okay, that was the fake Jason.
That was that one. That
That's a
girl.
new beginning. Yeah. Okay. She's nobody.
That's pretty much it. But that's pretty good.
I'm gonna hit up the Dave Ellefson line. and
Oh,
get
wait,
him to
there's
sign
more.
me My life.
But wait, there's more fake Jan, Jerry Reichel.
Are you Ron Popeil? But wait, there's more.
The fake Jan is going to be there.
Oh, from the Brady Bunch Variety Special.
Julie McCullough, Kirk Cameron's old girlfriend from
The one that did
Growing
Playboy,
Pains,
so he
blonde,
fired
yeah.
her. Okay,
Yeah.
because Kirk Cameron's such a great person. Fuck you, Kirk Cameron. I hope you die of ball cancer.
Keep that in.
Yeah, don't cut that out. I hope he comes after me. I'll stab him myself.
You know, people are
Jesus
just going
won't
to be
help
agreeing
him.
with us, so it's not. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I'm looking forward to this one, man.
Yeah, sure. It sounds like fun.
Good times.
I already know where I'm going first. I won't see you there.
Scott Baio.
Dave Ellison. Michelle will be in Scott Baio. I'll be at Dave Ellison.
But hey, what we should do is if you want a Scott Baio, I get your Scott Baio. You want a David Ellison, you get my David Ellison.
Oh,
so
for
this
sure.
Double it up.
Wouldn't Scott Baio be in Michelle?
Oh, Michelle will be there for sure. That's the only reason she's going.
Now that's where you should have. You could have. He teed himself up and didn't even do it.
Oh, I turned.
He
down
knew the
rim
joke
shot.
was coming.
He can't be on mic and produce at the same time. I mean, he can't produce anyway because he's missing it half the time when he's not talking. But when he starts
Can he add
talking,
in his joke that sounds
oh,
afterwards?
totally. You'll listen to this tomorrow.
There's
and
going to be
like
that whistle.
That'll be all over.
The best part
place.
is he get pissed off at you, and everything you say is just that whistle.
Oh yeah.
This has been the Exciting and New podcast. Again, you can reach us at Exciting and New on Twitter. We have an Exciting and New Facebook page as well.
Oh, we're on Facebook now. Wow, that sounds like we're modern and we're ahead of the game.
We're there. I'm
Like,
Jason.
Facebook's like 20 years old.
I can be found at Jazoo74 on Twitter.
I'm Andy. I can be found at Exciting and New at Twitter. I'll answer all your questions at that Twitter thing. I'm a jiggy.
And I'm Brian.
And he's a Papa Bad Kitty.
Oh, Papa Bad Kitty on Twitter.
Or whatever. Something
Wherever
like that. Just type that into your search engine and it'll come up.